This lecture is about an essay. The name of the essay is Amateur Athletics. This essay is written by Chris Chataway and presented by Shafaq Sahar. Games or sports are very essential for human body. People like to watch sports who do not participate in sports themselves. Many people in the world like to be professional players. Some people play for the sake of their health. Some people play for company, some for enjoyment. There are different motives for playing for the different type of people. This essay is about games and sports, their importance, and what change has been brought in the idea of an athlete or a sportsman during the 10 or 15 years that the writer has come from being a student to a professional. And he has seen that in this 10 or 15 years, there is a great change in the people's thinking process about games and sports. And this is what he discusses in this essay. Both words are the type that we need to go through the definition of them before venturing further. Amateur means a person who engages in a pursuit, especially a sport, on an unpaid rather than a professional basis. So, amateur would be a person who, for example, is an artist or a player, but his livelihood does not depend on it. He does not want to make a profession of it. He wants to play, or for example, paint or make something for his own enjoyment. Maybe an amateur gains something by it. Maybe they occasionally sell whatever they do or take money for playing. But if their complete livelihood it does not depend on it, they would not be called a professional, they would be called amateur. Athletics mean the sport of competing in track and field events. That means that if the player is running on a track or a player is playing in a field, both these places will hold to the athletics idea that athletics are the games who are played on a track like races and in the field like baseball, including running races and various competitions in jumping and throwing. So all type of races are included in athletics, and different competitions of jumping, long jump or any other style of jump would be also included in athletics. Throwing, for example, discus throwing or throwing of something else like a ball or another heavy object, all these sports are considered athletics. So, amateur athletics would be those games and sports that are played on a track or in a field by a person who does not make a profession of it. The type of athletes are mainly two: one professional and the second one is amateur. The professional athlete is a person who has a job as a player. As a player, he earns all his livelihood from his gaming. So, he would be a very serious person about his profession. He would be doing training for a very specific time each day under a trainer. He would be taking only food that is good for him in his sports venture. He would be refraining from all the activities or eating and going to places because of which his sports career may suffer. So he would play a game to earn money as a job. And because of that, he would dedicate all his life, all his time to that game properly. It would not be a side business, it would not be just a sort of recreation or enjoyment, it would be his job. So such player would be professional player who plays professionally. Second type, the amateur player, is the sort of player who likes to play. He likes the sports very much. He wants to stay fit. He is interested in the competitions. He is interested in the outdoor activity. He or she, that person would be maybe very good at sports, but they would not make it their profession. They would not make it their sole purpose of life. They would play at the time of playing, and they would do some other job, or they would be students or have a main lifestyle very far away from these gaming fields. So the amateurs would be the players who are not making a profession of their sports, and professionals would be the players who make a profession of their sports. Author's views. The writer says that there should be an amateur athletic union. He says that there are many unions for professional players. Those unions keep a check on them. If a professional player is not doing proper exercise, the union will decrease his number or somehow make him demoted, and also they will give him notice that he wants to remain in the professional line, he will have to do this and that. In this way, there would be a check and balance on the player, but there is nothing like that for the amateurs. Writer says that sometimes amateurs do not train daily. They train 2 or 3 days a week or 1 or 2 hours a week. That is not enough for them. So, amateur athletics should also be taken seriously, and the amateur players should have a union to keep a check on their activities. Then he thinks that they should make sure that amateur athletes should enforce a 5-hour training. Writer thinks that there is a very great lack of training for the amateurs, and the union should be there to check on them and also enforce on them, make compulsory for them that they should train at least 5 hours for a week. International athletics have changed in 10 years. The writer says that when I was young and when I was in college, international athletics were totally different, because I have been an amateur athlete in his life, he says. After that, he tells his story. Author's personal experience. He was studying in Oxford University when he was selected for international athletics. At that time, the students of the good universities could be selected for international events even if they were not professional, because mainly his job was being a student and he was just playing because he liked sports and he was physically fit. He says that he trained for half an hour daily. He means to say that his training was not enough. He was training for half an hour, that was much less than enough. But at that time, there was no guidance and there was no one to tell him that even for an amateur player, he needs to work harder. Writer says that he ran for 3 to 4 races per year. And for 3 to 4 races, of course, he trained insufficiently. And all those races, they were very good for him because they were extracurricular activities. Also, they gave him some marks in the university, as the sports seat is very important in the universities. But still he is not satisfied. He says that he ran very few races in a year, but his training was below normal, below standard. He should have trained much harder and much better, but he at that time did not know any better. The writer thinks that amateurs should work harder instead of taking it easy. They are playing a game, they should at least do justice to that, because if they will train less, there is no benefit in the game. Their muscles will relax and they would simply lose their touch if they do not train better. So he is trying to say that now people are more serious if they play any sports and they keep a proper professional routine, while it was not so in the past 10 years or 15 years back. Then he comes to that how the amateur athletics is working now. He thinks that generally today's athletes work harder. Like in the past, they did not give much importance to training or fitness routine or food and everything. But now they are more serious and they have learned their lesson. They do much more better training. Their food routine is better. They listen to the nutritionist and all the things they do are better and more professional than in the past. The writer thinks that still they have to train more. The sufficient training is not there. They do train but not that much as they should, and there should be a proper check on them, check and balance, that sees that the professional player should at least be working out for 3 to 4 hours a day, which is not seen for all the professionals that our author has seen. There is fierce competition, he thinks, and role of advertising has made this more serious than it was in the past. The author thinks that in the past the competition was not so high, while now competition has become more dangerous, and also there is a role of advertising, because the advertising companies, they hire the players, they wear their design dresses or their logos on their shirts, and they are paid for it, and because of that those players have a more serious responsibility, and they should take their games more seriously than before. In the end, he comes to the point of the real amateurs. He says that there are some people who play the sports not for money or fame or ambition, they play it for themselves. They like to enjoy the sports, they like the movement of their body, they like the fitness it gives them, they like whatever in the open air they do something. Then there is the friendships they get because of sports, and the company they get, socializing they get. So these people who are not doing sports for money, for a profession, are the real amateurs. The author idealizes those amateur athletes who actually enjoy the game. The writer thinks that those people who just love the game, that is why they play it, they do not want any money for it, they are the real amateur athletes. They take an evening from their busy lives and do sports. He thinks that those people, they are students, or they do some office work, or they have a proper job, but still in the evening they go for sports. That shows their dedication and interest in the game. They are not ambitious. Those people, they don't want to win great tournaments, they don't want to get famous and see their face on every TV screen. They just want to learn the sports, get better at them, and that is all they want. So they are the true lovers of sports and games. They play to keep fit and enjoy the game only. Their purpose is only this, that they love the game and they want to keep a fit body. That is why they are doing this. According to writer, this is a positive attitude, and such people should be appreciated. They are the real amateur athletes who are playing for the sake of playing, for the love of the sports, and they should have a special place in sports and be appreciated. Then he gives the final verdict. He gives the final decision that how the sports should be played. The athletes need to decide what they want to do. He says that athletes should know, does he want to be a professional or not. If he wants to be professional, he should take the sports very seriously from the very beginning. And if he is ready to take it just as a side business, just as a fitness routine, he should not bother to work that much hard. If they want to be professional, they should go for a hard training routine. If they want to keep it as a hobby or fitness routine, they should take it easy. So the main point in this essay is that a player must know what he wants. If he wants fame and ambition, and if he wants money for his sports, then he should give all his energy to it. And if a person just wants to go for sports for the sake of entertainment, enjoyment and fitness, then he should not bother so much that he should destroy his life for only training and being hard on him. He should take it easy and enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this is useful in your examination preparations.